Beloved, welcome to Sunday's Talk and thank you for joining me. What I'm about to share is possibly the most life-changing information you have ever yet received. Beloved, I want you to listen to me not just with your ears, but with your whole heart, with every cell in your body. You see, this is about the most profound transformation you'll ever experience in your lifetime. And it begins with a truth that most people spend their entire life running from. You see, there is a turning point in every life when you realize this. No one, and I mean no one, is coming to rescue you from the life you are living. But God has already given you the power to reshape it from within. You see, there is a moment in every journey when a deeper awareness begins to rise within the soul. It does not arrive loudly. It does not announce itself with a spectacle. It arrives quietly, like a truth that has been waiting patiently for you to notice it, to recognize it. And the truth is this, beloved. The life you are living is not only something you are experiencing, it is something you are authoring. You see, not every circumstance was yours to choose. Not every wound was yours to create. There are chapters in every life written by forces outside of our control. I'm talking about family histories, unexpected losses, environments we did not design, moments that alter the direction of our lives without asking for our permission. Yet, beneath all of those circumstances, there remains something that was never been removed from you. Beloved, your interior authority. The authority over how you interpret your life. The authority over how you respond to what has happened. I'm talking about the authority of what meaning you allow your experiences to carry. And this authority is sacred. Why? Because it is the place where the human spirit meets the presence of God. You see, many people spend years believing life is something that simply unfolds around them. They move through time, reacting, adjusting, and surviving. But spiritual awakening begins the moment a person realizes something deeper. You are not merely a witness to your life. You are a participant in its formation. And once that awareness settles into the mind, your soul, responsibility begins to take on a different meaning, a different role. Responsibility is often misunderstood. It is frequently spoken about as though it were a burden, a weight placed upon the individual. But responsibility, beloved, in its truest form, is not weight. Responsibility is authority. It is the realization that within every circumstance, you still possess the ability to shape the posture of your life, your inner life. You cannot always control events, but you can cultivate the consciousness through which those events are lived. And consciousness is not neutral. It grows in the direction it is cultivated. You see, if the mind is left unattended, old narratives continue writing the story. Interpretations become habits. Beliefs become environments. And over time, those internal environments begin shaping the architecture of a life. This is why spiritual traditions across centuries have spoken about the renewal of the mind, not as a command, but as an invitation. An invitation to become aware of the invisible forces shaping how we see ourselves, others, and the world. You see, psychologically, this is the work of awareness. Spiritually, this is the work of alignment, because the human mind carries two voices. You see, one voice is formed by history, the accumulated echoes of past experiences. I'm talking about disappointments, fears, and inherited beliefs, doubts. The other voice is quieter, but infinitely wiser. It is the voice of divine truth. The voice that reminds you that your past is not the final definition of your life, beloved. The voice that invites you to see possibility where old narratives once insisted limitations were permanent. You see, learning to distinguish between those two voices, beloved, is one of the most important forms of wisdom a person can develop. Because one voice keeps you anchored to who you believed you were. It keeps you bound. The other voice gently calls you towards the life God placed within you before you ever doubted it. You see, transformation begins when the quieter voice becomes the one you trust the most. And that trust does not develop all at once. It develops through alignment, through small but meaningful decisions that gradually reshape the relationship you have with yourself and God. You see, every decision carries a direction. Some direction reinforces old interpretations of life. Others quietly open a new possibility. So which one will you choose, beloved? Think of self-trust as a sacred account within your soul. Every promise you keep to yourself, no matter how small, is a deposit. Every promise you abandon is a withdrawal from your own confidence. And over time, those decisions accumulate. They form patterns. Those patterns form character, and character eventually becomes destiny. This is why the work of inner stewardship matters. Because the direction of a life is rarely determined by one single dramatic moment. More often, it is shaped through the quiet consistencies of awareness. Awareness of how you speak to yourself. Awareness of what narratives you allow to remain unquestioned. Awareness of the ways fears attempts to disguise itself as protection. And awareness of the invitations God places before you when growth is asking to occur. You see, growth rarely feels comfortable, not because something is wrong, but because growth requires the reorganization of identity. You see, discomfort is not a punishment. It is the currency of growth. I'll say that again, beloved. Discomfort is not a punishment. It is the currency of growth. Your nervous system may call it danger, but often it is your destiny knocking. Parts of the self that once felt familiar begin to dissolve. Old certainties lose their hold. It loses their grip. New perspectives begin forming. This space between identities can feel disorientated. Yet spiritually, it is one of the most sacred spaces a human being can experience, because it is the place where God begins expanding your understanding of who you are and who you are meant to be. And when that expansion occurs, something remarkable begins to change. Life stops feeling like something that is happening to you. It begins to feel like something unfolding through you, through your awareness, through your choices, through your willingness to live in alignment with the deeper wisdom placed within your soul. This alignment does not isolate you from others, beloved. In fact, it transforms how you meet them. Because connection changes when identity is no longer dependent on external validation. Relationships become places of shared growth rather than emotional completion. Understanding deepens, compassion expands, and the presence you bring into the world begins reflecting the peace you have cultivated within yourself. This is the quiet authority of a life lived in alignment, not loud, not forceful, but unmistakably grounded. Because the person living that life understands something profound. Life is not merely something that happens over time. It is something shaped through awareness, shaped through alignment, shaped through sacred partnerships between divine guidance, direction, and human participation. And slowly, almost subtly, the life you are living begins reflecting the life your soul has always known was possible. And beloved, before I close on today, I offer unto you my Sunday offering. I want to leave you with a reflection for the coming week. At the end of each day, sit quietly for a moment and ask yourself this one question. What shaped the way I lived today? Was it a habit? Was it fear? Was it awareness? Or was it the quiet wisdom that comes when the soul is listening for God? Do not rush the answer. Simply observe. Sit with it. Because awareness is the beginning of transformation. And the more aware you become of what shapes your life, beloved, the more intentionally you begin to live it. And that, beloved, is where spiritual freedom truly begins. Amen and amen. Beloved, if this stirred something in you, don't leave it there. Tell me in the comment section, what is one small promise you're going to keep to yourself this week? Drop me that comment. And if this message has served your soul, go ahead and subscribe, like, and share it so we can keep growing this community together. I love you to life, and peace be unto you.